Oh, and if that light is on, then we might very well be broadcasting. Kia ora! If you can hear me, you're listening to me, Ngaire Bennett, on East Tokomariro Radio. East Tokomariro Radio! Gosh, that sounds a bit like sleigh bells, doesn't it? And very fitting too, because today is, as you all know, Christmas Day. A very Merry Christmas to all of you. If you're listening to this and you'd like to say hello, then give us a ring on East Tokomariro 82050. Of course, East Tokomariro Radio doesn't normally broadcast on Christmas Day, and I am all alone here in the studio. It's rather dark in here. Ordinarily my producer Joan would be here working the knobs and answering the phones, but I expect she's enjoying Christmas with her grandkids, and, well, I was sitting at home this afternoon, by myself as it happens, and it occurred to me that Christmas can be a rather lonely time for some of us, can't it? You might be an elderly widower whose wife died earlier in the year and this is your first Christmas without her, and you could use a friendly voice on the wireless. Or maybe you've been through an ugly divorce and your children have decided they'd rather go to their dad's this year because his new girlfriend is more on their level and they can't stand watching you crying into your Prosecco at 10 o'clock in the morning. Or perhaps, like me, your sister Joyce decided that she'd break a long-standing tradition and, instead of bringing her kids around to Auntie Ngaire and Uncle Noel for Christmas dinner, she'd rather go and spend it with her new boyfriend, who she's only known for 2 months, and who she met on Blinder, which is a dating app for people who are very hard to look at. So they are around at Brendan's mother's house now. I'm sure that's a barrel of laughs for the kids. They could be at mine playing cranium or bananagrams, but instead they're in the musty old house of Brendan, the hairy squat goblin, and his casually racist octogenarian mother, probably sitting in uncomfortable silence around a formica table and listening to the interminable ticking of a collection of bloody carriage clocks. Well, sod the lot of them. Sod Brendan and his mother, sod Joyce, the ungrateful cow, sod big-boned Bethany, and sod little spindly Dean. I'm sorry, that was unworthy, and I really didn't mean it. It's just been a bit of a stressful day. Let's go to the phones and see how your Christmas is going. Call centre, call centre, call centre, call centre. Now, who have we got on the line? Nobody? No calls yet, never mind. East Tokomariro 82050 if you'd like to say hello. Still, it hasn't been all bad today. I got some lovely smellies from Noel. A collection of fizzy bath bombs. We don't have a bathtub in the house, but I'll just fill the wash basin up while I take a shower and pop one in there. Then I'll poke my head around the shower curtain and have a wee look at it. Give it a wee sniff. I'm sure it'll have much the same effect. And Joyce did bring the kids round this morning to get their presents. Bethany's 13 now. It's an odd age to buy for. She's starting to feel ashamed of liking childish things, and she wants to seem more adult, so I bought her a packet of scrunchies and a spirit level. And little Dean has never been much of an outdoors boy, what with his bone density and his weak wrists. He's always preferred a book, so long as it isn't too heavy. So I thought, I know he's interested in science and nature. I bought him a microscope. It wasn't cheap, I'll tell you that. And do you know what he said when he opened it? He said, "Huh, I used to want one of these." I used to want one. How ungrateful is that? I didn't say anything, but I was thinking, well, maybe if you regain your enthusiasm for the microscope, you can use it to discover what's wrong with you, you milky little shit. I'm sorry, again, that was inappropriate. It's just been quite a tense day. Anyone on the phones? No? East Tokomariro 82050 if you'd like to call in. Wish anyone a Merry Christmas. East Tokomariro Radio! Gosh, my timbrel really does sound more like sleigh bells today, doesn't it? Because I've had to pull the drum skin off. Last night, the East Tokomariro Provisional Salvation Army Timbrel Display Unit was performing carols at Christmas in the car park, and I'm afraid that during a particularly vigorous performance of Ding Dong Merrily on High, I punched a hole straight through the goat vellum. People were shocked, but it was quite exhilarating smashing things up. I felt like I was in the Who. Of course, my husband Noel was there. He's very active in the Salvation Army and very supportive of me, but it's always a bittersweet thing for him to see me in uniform. You see, when we first met, I wasn't in the Salvation Army, but he was. Or at least he was trying to be. He kept applying, but he always failed the physical. The recruiting officer told him, "I'm sorry, Noel, but if we get the call to go onward Christian soldiers marching as to war, how are you going to get on with that scoliosis? You've got different length legs. You'll be marching in circles. You'll get separated from your unit. The devil will make mincemeat of you." So poor Noel, he's never gotten to wear the uniform. But then I come swanning in, little Miss Jenny come lately, and they saw my timbrel skills and they just snapped me up. I was in uniform by the end of my first coffee morning. I mean, I did already believe in God. I mean, you have to, don't you? Because there has to be more to life than this, doesn't there? I mean, it can't just be the entirety of the universe and everything contained within it, surely. That doesn't seem like enough. Anyway, Noel was there in the New World car park, watching me bashing away at my timbrel, and we knew we'd just be having lunch today, the two of us, so as we were already at New World, we picked up a rotisserie chicken and some coleslaw, and a bottle of apple ties. We quite like an apple ties at Christmas because it's sparkly and doesn't taste very nice, so it feels a little bit like drinking wine. Being in the Salvation Army, of course, Noel and I don't drink. My sister Joyce does, though. Oh, gosh, she used to do just about anything when she was younger. Went off the rails there for a little bit. Dealer's Joyce, we used to call her. Well, that was a nickname I tried to start for her, but it never took off. Like Dealer's Choice, but Dealer's Joyce. I think it was too clever for most people. Do you know, now that I think of it, the booze might be why she didn't want to bring the kids round this year. It's my own fault, really. Look, a couple of years back, I encouraged the kids to join the junior soldiers, which is sort of like Boys' Brigade, but for the Sallies. They just meet up once a week and they play games and they practice playing brass instruments and they sign documents promising to accept Jesus as their Lord and Saviour and abide by the moral directives of the church. It's all good fun. Now then, one of the pledges of the junior soldier's promise is, "I will not smoke, take harmful drugs, or consume alcoholic drinks." Anyway, last Christmas, they were all over at ours and the kids were tucking into Joyce's trifle. They have always loved their mum's trifle. It's their favourite part of Christmas. So there they are getting stuck in when suddenly wee Bethany's face goes white and with a mouthful of creamy sponge fingers she says, "Is there sherry in this trifle?" And of course there is. That's why Noel and I don't touch the stuff. Chock full of sherry. And the kids have loved it every year, but this is the first time they've had it since making their junior soldier's promise. So little Dean looks at me with the literal fear of God in his eyes, and he says, "Auntie Ngaire, does this mean we've consumed an alcoholic drink?" And I said, yes it does. And he said, "Will Jesus forgive us for accidentally breaking our promise?" Now, bear in mind, I just started HRT and my mood swings were vicious, so I probably shouldn't have said what I did, even though it is technically correct. I said, "Listen, if you'd read your gospel, then you would know that Jesus said that you shouldn't make promises. Do not swear either by heaven or by earth or by any other oath. Do not take an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by the earth, for it is his footstool." So, I'll be honest, you've already annoyed Jesus once by making a promise at all. And then you've added insult to injury by breaking it. I can't see how he's going to be able to get over that one. Well, they were devastated. But what else could I have said? A junior soldier's promise is a very serious business. Call centre, call centre, call centre, call centre. Let's go to the phone. Nope, no calls. East Tokomariro 82050. Not that I know how to work the switchboard anyway, Joan does all that. So, anyway, it was just me and Noel for Christmas lunch today. Bread rolls and a cold rotisserie chicken. Didn't even get as far as the pavlova before he had to go out for a few hours. Leaves me all alone at home on Christmas Day, while he goes to spend time with his other family. It's a long story and I don't really want to get into it. Suffice to say that We never had children of our own because Noel suffers from a debilitating medical condition known as vaginal reluctance. Still, it seems that must have gone into remission about 3 years ago, because in November we got a call from, well, I won't give you her real name, let's just call her Slutty McSlut. And she has a little 2-year-old. I've seen photos. She is a bonny wee girl, I have to admit. And Slut even invited me over to the house today, but I'm not ready to meet the little one just yet, to deal with all that. But Noel, well, even though she's only 2, he didn't want her to ever experience another Christmas without her dad. So he is there. My sister and the kids are at her boyfriend's, and I am here with all of East Tokomariro. Merry Christmas, listeners. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Oh, we have a call. Go ahead, caller. You're talking with Ngaire Bennett. Oh. Hello, Noel. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. It's all okay. Oh, I don't know if anyone can hear you. I can't really work the switchboard. I'm surprised I'm broadcasting at all, to be honest. Joan does all this stuff. No, I'm glad you went. If you were the kind of man who doesn't want to see his own daughter at Christmas, then you wouldn't be the man I married. Yes, no. I would love some pavlova. Okay. I'm coming now.